Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Good morning. I was going to start my tarot card video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But good morning. It's morning here. The sunrise. For some reason, you can't. It doesn't really get captured very well with this phone that I have. Unfortunately, on that note, I don't have anything really negative to say about my phones. Um, as far as advertising and talking about brands and stuff. Uh, you know, this is my mom's old phone, and when she had it, when she was using it, and when it was her phone, not her old phone, to be, I was like, those are really great photos. And then she got a new phone, and then I got this phone, and then I say the same thing. I tell her her phone has really great photos, and not as good as mine. But anyway, speaking of which, I did take a photo of the sunrise too. That might be the cover photo, in case you're wondering. So to recap, introduction of this video is good morning from San Antonio and my phone. Anyway, how y'all doing? I have a couple things to say today. Nothing too big, nothing too heavy, I don't think. Um, uh, my, continuing on this kind of like I'm talking about my mom. We had a great day at the McNay yesterday. The McNay Art Museum, if you didn't know, it was what happens is it was somebody's house. Um, it's kind of like as far as like how much land, I'm not sure. There's a lot of land surrounding this McNay Art Museum that was once a house, and there was like an add-on that looks a lot different than the house part, and you can automatically tell right away which part was the add-on and which part is the original home. Um, so that's why it's a cool museum, um, or a little bit, I guess, different than maybe a regular museum. I don't know. I'm not saying the McNay's not a regular museum, but a museum that was not at once a residence. Um, at least as far as a regular museum in San Antonio, I think that's probably the only museum that used to be a residence. I could be wrong because I looked on Google Maps before, and I have seen several galleries, which might be different than a museum, uh, that have a residence vibe to them for whatever reason. Um, but yeah, that's what's cool about the McNay. It was a house that was kind of like a kind of, I don't want to say a party house, but it could be parallel to the Mar-a-Lago of San Antonio back in the day when it was a residence and not a museum. Uh, so anyway, um, I say that because they have pictures of I forget who used to own it, but anyway, I'm sure you can look it up online in case you're wondering. But yeah, they have pictures at the museum, the McNay, um, of how it used to be like when it was a pop-in residence, the place to be. Kind of like the Great Gatsby kind of vibes. Anyway, so mom and I had a good time at the McNay. So there's good days and bad days, and obviously things can get construed a certain way. And as far as uh, like slander or libel or something like that, I'm paralleling. Uh, say Clown Gabbard might be suing CNN for posting an article about her voting process. Um, and obviously an issue. If you change your residence and you're not there, then you should qualify for an absentee ballot. So of where did that absentee ballot go? A lot of questions. And as far as suing for, what was it? Suing for slandering or something like that? Um, I thought obviously it's ridiculous. Hello? But anyway, ridiculous for a lot of reasons, and I can't wait to see all the evidence. But until then, but anyway, there's good days and bad days. It has nothing to do with my mom's mental health, the state of my mom's mental health, and has nothing to do with the state of my mental health. Despite we got the third Thursday coming up before Easter, so despite that, so you're gonna have the slander. I got diagnosed with schizophrenia. But I'm sure Clown Gabbard's not going to spend her time, especially as Director of National Intelligence, investigating that. Despite public consumption of said news. But anyway, my mom and I, there's good days and bad days. Yesterday happened to be a good day. So we went to the McNay, and then we had lunch at Fish City Grill. That's a little bit down the street. We stopped by this one kind of boutique kind of shop. It's like a boutique / hardware shop. My mom got me a little chick. There's this black little chick stuffed animal, and it was so soft. I said, oh my gosh, that's so cute. She says, if you want it, I'll get it for you. I said, oh my gosh, okay. It was $10. So I got a little chick for Easter. I said, do I have to wait till Easter to have it? She says, no, you can have it now. So today's a good day. Anyway, it was really fun at the McNay. A lot of interesting artwork. My mom forgot her phone, so speaking of photos, the photos that she posted on her Instagram, she has a private profile, but I don't know the situation. Okay. So if you want to check out her photos from the McNay, they were actually taken on this phone to do full circle from the intro to my video. And maybe it's me. Maybe I just don't know the settings of phones or cameras and stuff like that, because I know that can be a big deal. Anyway, yeah, really great art at the McNay right now. They have this, it used to be the gift shop, and then it got changed to the studio, and then it got changed to the location, something called the Spotlight, which is something that the McNay has had for a really long time. I think ever since I've been going there, for as long as I can remember, but maybe it might be a little bit newer than maybe like the first time I've been to the McNay. I don't know. But anyway, the Spotlight is artwork in the museum from people in elementary, middle, and high school. And it's always so fun to see. And it was at a different location, but now it's at the location where it used to be the gift shop. It used to be a place called the Studio, and now it's the Spotlight, where they display all the kids' art. And so we had a really fun time. My mom, she used to be I don't know if you know this, she used to be a GT teacher. She used to be, I think she started out with math, and then she went to GT. And so it's always fun to see the art with her, because she's always like, I can tell which ones are gifted, and of course I see it and I said, they all look gifted. I said, is that one gifted? Yes. Is that one gifted? Yes. Anyway, Um, so they had this really cool. They usually recently, there's usually themes. Recently, the theme has been there's these two dragons, art sculptures. One's pink, one's blue. They're called dragons, and as far as like what the artist said they were. Um, and they're in the residential part of the McNay Museum, in case you're wondering, in case you visit. Um, and um, they look like hippos. A lot of the kids draw them as hippos, which I think is, of course, I think is cute. So look at all these hippos that are dragons. So anyway, yeah, it was really cool art, as usual. Um, uh, and on that note, to get a little bit political, um, Uh, they're not always from public schools. Is what I've noticed. They of course they have the name of the school, the name of the I think the names of the children. Again, elementary, middle, and high school. Of who's done that, participated in that art project that is being displayed at the McNay Art Museum. Um, So yeah, they have the grade, the school, the grade, and I think also the names of the artists. Um, and yeah, on that note, they're not always public schools. I think a lot of them are, um, in fact, not public schools. So I think it's very important. I don't know about this Dan Patrick situation as lieutenant governor and what his views are on this school vouchers. Um, as far as school vouchers equates to school choice. um, uh, Especially considering I've seen so many schools. There's a lot of schools here in Texas that aren't public schools, from what I've seen at the McNay, um, which I think is interesting. So as far as funding, they seem to be doing fine. I don't know what this school voucher situation makes me even more kind of like side eyeing that political idea that is labeled as Republican. I guess because of the people who are promoting it. Um, but yeah, they always have really great artwork. So if you scroll through my Instagram, or you watch this video now, you can scroll through my Instagram and you can probably notice. Um, the spotlight children's art. I'm gonna clear my throat 1 second. Okay, so yeah, it makes me really wondering exactly what is the school vouchers. Um, and as far as what I know about public, and it makes this interesting as far as the tax tests, which I think is now renamed the STAR tests. As far as uh, I'm gonna just it's gonna be confusing, but I'm just gonna say public school as opposed to higher education. Um, so it really makes me wonder about all that. I know that when you do go into higher education, uh, there's exams like the SATs, like the ACT. And if you've already been through higher education and then you want to pursue even higher education, there's obviously certain exams. Or is that just in health, like the MCAT and stuff like that? Anyway, what I'm saying here is I'm wondering exactly what this school voucher uh, equals school choice equals parental rights, because from what I'm seeing, not on the internet, but out in San Antonio, just in San Antonio, mind you, um, there seems to already be that. Seems to already be in place. And as far as the funding, I'm not seeing issues. I'm sure, probably each school might have advisement and stuff about funding. But that aside, uh, it doesn't seem like there seems to be any sort of issue here. It seems like there's already school choice. It seems like there's already parental rights. So for this stuff to be in the front stage for Dan Patrick's lieutenant governor's reelection, I'm really wondering, like, why? Doesn't that, at best, you can say it's redundant. Uh, what's wrong with the system that we have uh, is what I'm wondering. Uh, So as far as bringing education back to the states, I don't know what state you're from, but Texas, I think, has always been a bit conservative and has always followed that. For the most part, from what I can remember, correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to do so. Um, but yeah, Texas has always kind of been a little bit more schools are a state government type of situation. Um, and as far as the testing, it may seem like, oh, well, we're ranked this much on the testing. But, you know, um, it could be a lot of things. One of which is it's great to get things on record. Um, as far as like testing going on, I don't want to get any more into it than that, but like as far as like, oh well, Texas, I know the automatic argument against that, people hear, oh, conservative Texas, they're already going to have their liberal arguments ready, right? And they're going to say like, oh well, Texas is ranked like, I don't know, like 45th or something higher in education. So as far as the amount of students and stuff like that, I would have further questions. But anyway, my point here is about this school vouchers equal school choice and stuff like that. From what I can see, there are public schools and then there are other schools. I don't know how they're not public schools as far as getting funding from the state of Texas. I think that would be a very interesting conversation to have right now, especially with the school voucher is parental rights, is the money follows the student type situation. I said, well, what's already in place? Um, and y'all know me, I'm always looking at things in a certain way. Why should I not? And so as far as this KIPP school up there, when at first it was weird because it was a residence, and it's not the first establishment that has I don't even want to say bought out, that has replaced a residence and become an establishment. One a school, the other a church. Which is taking just as long to build. So of course I'm side-eyeing this school that was built right down the street. Especially considering at first it was labeled as a charter school, and then now it says it's a public school, and it even has a B rating. It has a little sign out on the fence. So I'm running on my jogging route, and there's the sign. A public school with a B rating. So I said, well, at first it said it was a charter school. Now it says it's a public school, and I've never seen a school that has elementary, middle, and high school all on one campus. And it's built right here in this neighborhood. I can't buy the house that I wanted to buy and add a pool into it. I have to be living here. No discussion that I'm a public figure and celebrity, whatever the finances, whatever the legal drama going with that is not even discussed. It's just not. Not discussed, not acknowledged. Nope. Not one word. In addition to not one interview, not one debate. But Clown Gabbard is going to sue for defamation. because of a CNN article, of which it's CNN Politics. So if you click on the article, you have to be a subscriber, a paid subscriber to the CNN. It's not just a free article. um, in case you're wondering. So as far as it being a subscription type situation, I don't know what's going on there. If that has anything to do with it, that may be a detail that might be important. It's not one of their free articles. It's CNN Politics, and you have to be a paid subscriber in order to have access to that article. But anyway, and as far as the last time she's been interviewed on CNN, I couldn't tell you. So as far as defamation lawsuit, I think that's very telling. But anyway, not one interview, not one debate, not nothing. Anyway, on that note, on that segue, the defamation lawsuit from Clown Gabbard's lawyers about a subscription article to CNN Politics segues to I've been noticing on The View, I call people stupid. I have a certain brand. I have a certain image. Okay? And as far as what that image was before and after 2021, I don't know if somebody gets paid for that. I know I don't, at least right now. Okay? But I'm sure YouTube would be like, I would love to give her a check. What's going on? And then so YouTube can't give me a check. I see the mailman every day. No YouTube check. So defamation lawsuit about Clown Gabbard. She moved to Texas, changed her residence from Hawaii. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know where she lives. But apparently in 2004, she officially lives in Texas. I don't know where in Texas. Texas is a big state. So get out. We don't want you here. Are you here because you're a Republican? What's going on? Why the big move? I'm just saying, I guess a lot of people have been moving to Florida, and maybe a lot of people have been moving to Texas, and what? Because of the COVID fascism? I'm just wondering why. But anyway, so she changed her residence in 2024 to Texas, and I just skimmed through the article, but apparently it was a good day to do that. A little cabinet meeting yesterday. So anyway, I can't wait to have a joint interview with my husband, but until then, we're gonna have to keep up with those cabinet meetings. And Caroline Levitt poll, who do you think is better or worse, but worse being better? I don't know. KGP or Caroline Levitt? Which one? KGP or KL? Anyway, so on that defamation segue, I just want to say it's one thing for me to say, oh, that's stupid. Before 2021, I was like, I couldn't believe people, I was being live streamed, and I couldn't believe people actually watched. I said, oh my God, I don't do anything. Why are people watching? Just Gypsy. Hi, Gypsy, good morning. She's got really good ears. I said, I don't know, why are people even watching? When are they watching? Where? All that. And as far as the exploitation and abuse, as far as any pornography goes, that aside, I said, well, why are people watching? So I just kind of just kept being myself after 2021, and it was just like, I think people like to have a friend, right? When I watch YouTube channels, I watch reality TV and stuff like that, and I said, well, I guess it's just like that, you know. Um, as far as all that goes. Um, so it's one thing if I say, oh, that's stupid. That's intellectually lazy, which I think is what people kind of appreciate, is because I'm able to read the room like that. Uh, and when people from The View, I think Sunny always, but recently she says like dumb or stupid. They say dumb or stupid, which I think is the vernacular that I use. There's a little word. They must like gypsy. What are you doing? Anyway, using this kind of vernacular where, which gets me to I guess they're not understanding a lot of stuff, which brings me to my point of this is a very unique day and age we're all living in. What a time to be alive, okay? And I think that uh, uh, people who, I don't want to talk down on higher education or anything like that, and I don't want to talk down on um, being respectful of social graces or anything like that. So with that caveat, um, you know, it's about reading the room. If you have this, if you're touting your higher education, um, and you're just saying things that you're supposed to say, and you're not reading the room, then I don't know how you got that higher education. I'm really wondering. It reminds me of like a public school before higher education, like English class, where it's like you have to read this story and you have to evaluate it, and you have to evaluate it at a certain level. It seems like none of the people from The View had that type of English class. So you're in law, you're in journalism, and you're just saying what you think is the appropriate thing to say, even though we're in a very unique and special time. You look absolutely ridiculous saying these things because you're ignoring the reality in which we all live, is my opinion. So I don't get a defamation lawsuit, right? Which is really weird when you're a public figure. So you get less leeway when you're a public figure with all that stuff. If you're not a public figure, you might have more grounds for a defamation lawsuit. But if you're a public figure, if you're a politician, if you're a director of national intelligence, you know, it's not the time for revenge like that. So why are you doing that? People are going to have articles about you. People are obviously not going to be stupid and have some questions about this very unique time we all live in. So what's going on? Punishment, something that I've been saying for 4 years now. They're pathetic losers, in my opinion, from my lived experience here on this formerly known NISD school bus route, but I saw the school bus yesterday afternoon at 6 p.m. So anyway, I think, which brings me to this, they're saying these things, it seems like a script, it goes into this whole Democrats versus Republicans, a lot of political arguments that are just automatic go-to. Apparently you haven't evaluated your opinions. You're just ready to set forth these opinions and deliver it in a way where it's 2025. That message doesn't land. What's communicated is not that message. Something else entirely is communicated when you say what you think is you're supposed to be saying, right? And you're just gonna ignore that. Um, uh, So yeah, as far as lawyers go, obviously that's very interesting. Um, First, the move, and then the lawyers. As far as finances, if you're a lawyer, you get into people's finances. Okay, as far as social graces and stuff like that, it's depending on your situation, but you wouldn't necessarily be like, go to somebody and say, what are all your assets that you have, and what forms do you have your money in, and all of that. That's usually not something that's normal conversation, but when you're a lawyer, that is because of payment. Um, So that's very interesting. Just a side note on that. Um, and I don't know. I just thought the wording of, they didn't say Clown Gabbard's lawyers, but I don't like her. I don't like to say her name, and I don't know why I should give her any respect. I feel like I should not give her respect. I feel like that would be very degrading, and a form of humiliation for me if I were to not give her the nickname, not use the nickname in front of everybody. People who follow me, people might call me a victim's advocate. So I just don't think it's an appropriate time or place. So I refer to her as Clown Gabbard because, in my opinion, that's what she is. Um, so yeah, I think it's interesting how the wording from the articles that I've skimmed, it was Clown Gabbard's lawyers have brought forth this lawsuit. So I think that was just something that kind of caught my eye. Um, so anyway, yeah, that was my point. It was just people just saying who are supposed to be put in positions of intellectual authority, not like authority where just authority as far as like being on TV, being a public figure and stuff like that. I don't mean any kind of like legal authority. Um, but there is a platform in which they get to say their intellectual ideas, right? Um, so yeah, I'm just really bored of this. What can you call intellectual masturbation? I might have to put a little warning in my info box, but this is just absolutely ridiculous. They're saying all of these things, and I'm like, I really don't think you believe any of that. Um, so you want to go on with your political career? You don't have any other things? You can't read the room? And which I think another is why what I say lands with people, not just people of a certain group, but people across the board and across the spectrum. What I say lands with people from all different backgrounds. Um, is because I have the ability to read the room and read the social situation and understand that. Um, which arguably is maybe why people watched me before 2021. So, well, maybe they just like a little bit of conversation, and that's great. I like conversation. Um, but anyway, who doesn't like to hang out? But anyway, um, so yeah, it just gets me to this whole like, these fake arguments. It's like, these aren't even intellectual arguments. If it were a different time, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that might be, when you say that, it might be something that kind of lands. But now it's just not. So from what I can see, you don't know how to communicate, or you don't believe in your ideas. They don't make any sense. And so for them to start using the vernacular like, oh, stupid and dumb and stuff like that, I'm like, well, maybe they realize that what they're saying doesn't make any sense, but they're not going to change their overall message, which is counter to reading the room in 2025. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, I guess those are my points today. 34 minutes, 35 minutes. So obviously, in my opinion, I think it's very hypocritical, but very transparent about this defamation lawsuit. Obviously, it makes me uncomfortable. Why is she living in Texas? Um, uh, and I'll just throw that question out there. And not one conversation. Went to one event in Austin, Texas. She was late, by the way. I think she was like half an hour late. So anyway, so it didn't really need me to promote any of that, right? So I can assume she hasn't taken any of my money. That would be a safe assumption. But her comment to my husband before 2020 about military in Saudi Arabia, she touted her veteran status and her National Guard current status, saying, Mr. President Trump, 45, you cannot treat the military like prostitutes. You are not our pimp. So obviously, that quote is a bit concerning. I'm over here thinking like that's definitely red flags. But if you want the attention, you got it. Didn't seem like you want the attention. So, it's very questionable. Doesn't make any sense. You dropped out of the race. Why'd you drop out of the race? Why did for Biden? And then Biden had to drop out after the first debate. I don't think that's gonna go well. I wonder who's gonna be happy with that defamation lawsuit, because it is a mess of a mess over there. Dare I say it's even more of a mess than PoolNet. But anyway, this video is gonna end, so just wanted to say, hey, happy Friday, good morning. Those are my thoughts. All of these people supposed to be of an intellectual stature, like Caroline Levitt, and I'm just like, you're annoying. I don't know who's more annoying, you or Noeen. So anyway, which is why anyway, I'll just leave it at that. It's already 37 minutes. My video's gonna end soon. So yeah, good morning, happy Friday from me in the back alley on this box over here. So y'all have a good one. Hope you enjoy your weekend. And yeah, I could literally just talk to y'all for a real long time, but here we are. Anyway, y'all have a good one. I'll talk to y'all later. Happy Friday.